So most set items in Diablo 2 Resurrected aren't even picked up, let's be honest. A lot of them are trash. The full sets aren't any good. But here today, I'm going to go through what I believe, in my opinion, are the top 5 best set items in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Now, if you think I missed anything or anything should be added to this list, feel free, head down in the comments section, let me know. Now let's get after it. Now these 5 are in no particular order, but the first one we're going to talk about here is Tal Rasha's Adjudication, and that is the Tal Rasha's Amulet. Now the most important thing and the reason this is used on a ton of sorceresses early on is this 2 to sorceress skills right here. Now usually to get a 2 to a character skill, you pretty much have to be essentially level 93 or higher and craft caster amulets, and that way you can get 2 to skills and get faster cast rate on it. Or you can craft different other types of amulets as well, but caster amulets are by far the most common because most characters in Diablo 2 Resurrected are casters. Now also on this, you got some lightning res, you got life and mana, but also you see here, it actually gets cast rate from 4 items from that set. The Tal Rasha's set is actually pretty darn good, whether you're doing a 3-piece set, a 4-piece set, or some people will do the full set. Now also, very important, the level requirement is relatively low at just 67 to wear it, but more importantly, the item level of this, for a normal amulet to get 2 to a character's skill, the item level has to be over, I believe, level 90. This one only has item level 26, and it can be 2 to sorcerer skills. Now, just to put that in perspective, you can actually find this as early as, from my research, I looked on Silas Spin's drop odds calculator, you can find this Tal Rasha's Adjudication from normal Mephisto, according to his drop odds calculator. So that's incredibly crazy. Could you imagine finding this amulet in normal from Mephisto? Your jaw would literally drop to the floor. Now next on the list here, we're going with Trangul's Claw here right in the middle. Now the most noteworthy on this one is obviously going to be this 20% faster cast rate, because casters in Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected now are the absolute go-to almost all the time. So every character needs Mage Fists, or a lot of times people will go with these Trang's Gloves even if they're not a Necromancer, because unlike Mage Fists, they also have a little bit of cold res on it. If you're going to wear gloves, you might as well get cold res. Not that cold damage is necessarily the most devastating, but instead of not getting it or getting it, a lot of people will choose to get it. Now, if you are a poison necromancer, you can also go with this 25% poison skill damage. Now that is incredibly awesome. And also don't forget, if you're a poison Javazan, or any character that's dealing poison damage, I suppose, this will apply to your poison skill damage. So take that into consideration. Also for necros here, you get 2 to curses. So if you're ever using a necromancer, you're definitely going to go with these ones. Now also look here at the item level is just level 32. So you can probably find these definitely anywhere kind of towards the end of normal. I'm not sure what the level of Baal is. You can definitely get these right at the beginning of Nightmare. So item level 32, you can get those pretty early on, and they only require level 45 to use, so you can even use them pretty early on too. That'll be sometime probably at the towards the end of Nightmare, or maybe even in the middle of Nightmare for you. So I know there are quite a few crammed together here, but specifically we're looking at right here. This is Gilliam's face, or known as the G face. That's this horned helm over here. It's technically a winged helm, but this one is most noteworthy here. Once again, here is 35% chance of crushing blow and 15% chance of deadly strike. Now it is uncommon in this game for any characters, but for melee characters here, to get increased melee damage from a helmet. So crushing blow and 35% is incredibly high, because crushing blow does a percentage of the amount of life that a monster has left. So if you're fighting a boss with a large life pool, like let's say Diablo or Baal or even any of the Ubers, that will take off a amount of damage that is way more than the amount of damage that your weapon can actually do. So it could be way higher. It'll chop them down. Once it gets lower, it just takes a percentage, like I said, so it's not going to be as effective, but it'll chop down their health from the top at such a large rate that is absolutely amazing. And then once you get lower, that's where this deadly strike comes in, because deadly strike means that your weapon will do double damage. So it's only 15%, but still dealing double damage from your weapon. Awesome. So of course you get a little more strength. That will actually slightly increase melee damage, Or just, you know, if you don't want to put as much strength onto your character to wear certain gear, you can save some points there to put into vitality or something. It also has more hit recovery, so if you're up there blasting away on a boss or something and you get hit, you have a better chance, you know, a 30% faster hit recovery on that to help you get back to the action and swinging again. And then also here you see the character level requirement. It's only level 34. You might not even be level 34 before you leave normal. So that is interesting right there. Just the level requirement on this is incredibly low. And also, this is a, we'll call it a semi-common option for at the Act 2 mercenaries, at least, possibly the Act 5 mercenaries now. Just because if you're going for the max damage setup on your mercenary, let's say you're doing a corpse explosion necromancer and you just want to get that first monster down as fast as you can go ahead and put on this to get the crushing blow and deadly strike and increase the damage of your mercenary there too. Now we're coming in with another one for the melee characters here, and that is Laying of Hands. This one right here, these gloves. The item level here is only level 39, so you can get those super early on. It does require up to a level 63 though, so that's kind of mid-range. You can definitely, everyone will be able to use these as long as you're playing through the game and getting some levels. But the most noteworthy thing on these, increased attack speed. If you're a melee character, you got to get increased attack speed in your gloves. It's mandatory. But the huge one is this 350% damage to demons. Now, like 60, 70, I don't know the exact percentage, 75% of monsters in Diablo 2 are actually demons. So you're essentially doing 350% enhanced damage to those, which is absolutely bananas. It also has 52 fire res, which in my opinion and a lot of other people's, fire and lightning are the two most important resistances to get. So just those three right there alone make these one of the best melee gloves in the entire game. There aren't really a crazy lot more options for melee characters, to be perfectly honest. There are like steel rends, I guess, that got crushing blow on it. You can craft some blood gloves that will have crushing blow and could have increased attack speed, life leech, and a bunch of stuff like that. Those are a very good option. Past those, it's all a bunch of kind of middling, so-so, just placeholders until you can get something better like this Laying of Hands. So most melee characters that I ever run and that other people run will be using these gloves on their character. Now next up here is actually for the Tal Rasha set once again. So we already talked about the amulet, and this one is going to be for the mask for that set, but hold up. This is actually usually not even used for the set necessarily. The most common use for this particular item for the Tal Rasha set, which is specifically made for the sorceress, this mask is actually used more so for melee characters, and the literal most common is for the Act 2 mercenary, kind of the budget option you use before you get your Andariel's Visage. Now right here you see the item level is 26. That's the same as the amulet. I noticed, I hadn't really looked into that prior, but so you can get this as early as normal Mephisto, which is pretty wacky, but it does require up to level 66, so you'll have to get up, you know, kind of towards the end of Nightmare before you can use it, or into Hell. But the most noteworthy things on this right here, there's so much stuff to help these melee characters out. Let's say you are a melee character, 10 to both life leech and mana leech. So your leech problems, you don't need to get it anywhere else. 10% is a huge number. Now you don't need mana on your mercenary obviously, but 10% life leech will help keep that mercenary alive, keep healing himself while he's attacking. It also has 15 to all resistance, keeping that mercenary alive, or your character if you are using it. Now it does also have life and mana on it. Everything about this over here, every one of these things over here is specifically tailored to a melee character. So I'm not sure exactly what this was designed for towards this set. Maybe just so you could be all around, have everything you really needed for this set. If you did go into some crazy melee sorceress, when they first developed the game, they weren't sure what people were going to want to do or whatever. But this is, especially at the beginning of ladder, everyone's go-to option for an Act 2 mercenary, or really any of the mercenaries, to get life leech, because it's so incredibly high. 10% is crazy. Now this is also used if you're doing the full Tal Rasha set. Obviously you have to have every single one of them, but you notice up here, we'll just look up real quick, like let's say the armor, if you have two items, you can get the cast rate. You notice this doesn't say anything underneath it. There is no item set bonuses. This one, the belt, you see 2 items, 3 items. There is no technically set bonus while wearing this if you're wearing other pieces, just if you throw that on to get like the full set bonus. But it does help the other ones reach their 2 or 3 set bonuses. So keep that in mind if you're planning to use it for your sorceress. So if you like that list, check out one of these other ones up over here. Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe up so you never miss any of the future videos. Thank you so much to all the channel members. With your support, you make it possible for me to keep streaming and making videos here on this channel. Peace out, fellas, and keep slaying. Ooh.